Ba-da-ba-ba-ba-da-da-da-ba-da-ba. Go ahead and announce the dev stream. Ah, I'm not listening to music. I was like, something seems off. I didn't have my music up. What is wrong with me? Thank you, Astor Piazzolla. You have rescued me. Okay, I've been making some changes to everything. A really important component in this. I guess I'll open this in Chrome. A really important component to this is that the way that you actually download, like you can't just download the video files straight out of straight out of the cloud storage, because they're actually not stored in a particularly natural way. They're stored as a bunch of sort of chunks. And so there's this whole separate like file system to actually download the files. I have now verified separately that it is in fact recording, which is good, but I have not yet hooked up the entire download interface to download it. Once I have that, then I have some extra tricks up my sleeve that I would also like to work with recording video. So let's go ahead and make a quick test recording with some video. This should ask the join recording. Yes, that's it would not typically do. It says pop-up blocked because it does try to pop this up without asking. But you know, if it can't, then it asks. Let's go ahead and start recording. Let's record my screen. So yep, I am doing this in multiple ways, not for any good reason. But this should also, what it's saying here is that it's saving to the cloud. I'm not using in-browser storage space in this particular example. So I'm just going to record enough that there's definitely something there. Finish that download. Now, if I check here now, yes, yes. So that should download reasonably quickly. And that's 8. And let's just check. Got a bunch of random crap here, huh? Yes! So it is actually downloadable out of the cloud. I'm going to do rm-rf star. What could possibly go wrong with that? But this is the downloads directory in this development environment, so it's unlikely to be very important. Now, the issue is this is not the normal user interface for downloading this. This is like a, you know, frankly, very confusing user interface. How you're supposed to download it is through the same download interface that you would download the actual stuff, the stuff. There's supposed to be a pop-up here that tells you to download the video, but I've now utterly broken that by setting all this other crap in here. So, does this... I don't actually see an error. Oh, yeah, of course, yeah. Because it tells the host, hey, you need to actually log in before you can do that. Okay, so lots of stuff needs to change in the server side as well. Let me actually... There is no make clean. Is there like a make force? How do you make and assume that everything is not up to date? Make-F? No. automatic call, unconditionally make all targets. That'll do. Ooh, that's fun. I don't think I have package lock in the repo, so that might not be real. Yeah. I've slightly come around on the idea of having package lock in the repo, but not enough. Maybe what I do is remember that it's just npm audit fix, not npm audit -- fix. Firebase. Oh, god damn it, Firebase. I, of course, you know, I'm not even using that on this system. But I would like for npmi not to give me a bunch of warnings. Okay, that's more like it. Now then. Nope, nope, nope. I want the download interface. Thank you. So, let's just cover some basic cases. Actually gonna, in a rare case of using tabs, I'm gonna open a second one just to remember all that happens here, because it is pretty strange. So what this now does is it sends a file storage remote message, which I need to react to. And button here is actually the size of the button, which is important because there's an iframe here, which normally I have on display none, but instead I need to make it visible and the size of that button. So display is no longer none. Width is going to be data button.w. It's presumably W and H. That's how I would have named it. Yep. And plus pixels. Height is data button.height plus pixels. I'll bet I just stuck this... Oh, I didn't stick it anywhere. That's funny. I mean, yeah, why would I put it anywhere? Okay, so here's what I need. I need there to be the video box, and then this will be the video download box. Eventually, this is all going to change. And then totally unrelated to that, there is an iframe, video download iframe. I will actually just use that iframe. This display is none by default. Which means I now need this to be block. That, I was about to say that should be sufficient. I'm actually betting it's not. Let me at least set margin auto, which in this particular context might center it. I never know when margin auto does and doesn't work. And that should actually be it for that, yeah, because it does file storage remote login when it's successfully logged in. Brecca. If it's successful, right, it's going to use the same connection. That's fine. So actually, I don't really care about that. Did I remember to send the context with the salt? Yes, I did. The context will be either local or remote. Local for local for local. Yeah, okay. For the time being, I'm just going to throw the word fix me in here, because if you download it to both, then that would be pretty, ugh. So I need video box and video DL box. You know what, I'm just going to store refs to those. Box. Video box. Video DL box. video DL box. So video box needs to be displayed this is why I want the remote success message. Because regardless of whether it's successful, I want to hide the video box, but to avoid any race conditions. Oh, of course, and I also want to hide the iframe. That's very important. But to avoid any race conditions, I'll set it to the displayedness of the video download box so that if this comes first, then they will both show. Video box, styles like display. A little bit confused that it was set. Oh, of course, yeah. Setting it to anything would actually have worked, and in fact, the same goes for the iframe. I generally like to use the default value rather than trying to get too creative with it. Okay, so theoretically, I should get a syntax error. Block colon cool. Oh, oops. Those were supposed to be gone. I'm so confident that fixed that I'm just going to reload. So that did make it visible. But why isn't the iframe there at all? Where's the iframe? Did I stick the iframe somewhere else? No, I don't think so. Oh, yes. I stuck it somewhere stupid. And that still doesn't answer the question. Okay, so we got the wrong width and height information. Let's just temporarily go like this. Yeah, okay, the login button is there. And that, yep, that did work. Well, I mean, I guess I haven't technically verified that that did actually work. Oh, of course that wouldn't work, because this does not include the context. God damn it. Download. Everything else stays the same. And the context is from the message. That should be fine. Okay, I gotta figure out why that's not getting the size correctly. That turns out to be fairly important. So is there a race condition, or is this just not a good, like, do I need to wait for that to actually be visible for it to have an offset width and height? Let me try the good old set timeout 0 trick, so that hopefully the append will actually happen, and maybe once it's appended, then it'll have a real size. In the interim, I'm going to refill my drink. Ooh. Ain't that pretty? Oh, is that not async? Yeah, fair enough, since I was just returning something at the end. A promise at the end, that is. It didn't actually matter. So all of this, fs.js, this is actually a completely different interface. This is just for accessing the quasi-file system without actually downloading anything. I better do a hard refresh here to make sure that it does actually have the new version of that. And that absolutely 100% didn't work. This is obviously very stupid. I just want to check whether this is going to... Like, I just want to check where the problem is happening. This is a quite sophisticated little system here that Ennuicastr essentially has a file system stored either in browser storage or now in cloud storage, but that is accessible through the recording domain. The download domain needs to use inter-domain communication, is that a term people use? To actually get that information. Somehow that didn't work. What? I don't understand how it's possible that that didn't work. Sources. Yeah, that's correct. There must be some. So, like this promise needs to finish before this returns, which means it must have either gotten to this point or the entire remote store finished. But I don't see how the entire remote store could have finished, so it must have reached this point. And yet, remote store button does not appear to have been set. There's not anywhere else where it's set, is there? Yeah, I don't even get its properties anywhere. Just to check myself here. Yeah, this actually returns the file storage. It has to be fully logged in before that will return, so it's not this. Let me just try the obvious thing here. Let me try the obvious thing and one less obvious thing here. While I'm at it, I will also output it there. Then do a hard refresh here to make sure I have the right version of the script in cache. How is it even possible that we never reached that point? Like, I could have foreseen a ordering problem where I didn't get to them in the order that I figured I would have, but to not get to this at all, I don't understand how that's possible. Unless... Does this not actually... Well, it uses that as its transient activation function. Besides, I know it must have used this because the... Does this console.log not show up there? Do you have to go to a different console? Oh dear. Is it stuck somewhere in here? Is it this one? Well, that didn't change any of this, so I think I was seeing the collected console. Oh god, what have I done? But I know this happened. This has to have happened. Here's the console.logs. Okay. I guess I had to hard... Why would I have to hard refresh this? This cache should be the same as this cache. Okay, I don't understand why that would be necessary. Those should be the same cache, but I refuse to think it through any further. So that suggests that all the way back here, this could have been the right solution, and I just wasn't. I was just confused. Force it to actually go. That's just to make it go back to the drawing process so that it can have a chance to draw the button, then it knows the width and height of the button. I think some versions, like there's a way to get the quote-unquote calculated width and height, and those should always work, but there's like 50 different ways to do it, and none of them are quite correct. So that appears to have still been 256 by 128. I guess I should be able to, yeah. Or not. It would be in /fs. Oh, it's actually, okay, it's within the iframe, but only the one version of the iframe, not the other version of the iframe. That's not confusing. Oh, of course, this was the original, the blank site that it had when it had no source. Silly. Yeah, that does definitely yield. Okay, I'm doing this the correct way. I'm getting tired of this bullshit. Is it window get computed style? Yes. And in this case, this will actually be a string. So over here, I do not want to add px to it, or it would be pxpx. I believe that get computed style is the version that doesn't need it to actually be on screen and blah blah blah, and just will actually compute the style. I also thought that it was a promise-based thing, but I guess not. Shouldn't really have to be per se, but get computed style. Ooh, that was ugly. Oh, of course. Because previously, yeah, let's actually do this. Let's do 256 by 64 as my default instead of 256 by 128, which was truly bizarre. Why a button would be twice as tall, or half as tall as it is wide, instead of much, much wider than it is tall. It's this kind of like really stupid crap that always gets me about just programming in general. Like, I understand the concept I want, but I'm just messing with this BS. Now I'm more confused than ever, because I don't even have the 256 or 128 fall-throughs anymore. It made it here before that showed up here. Auto. God, Get computed style auto. Come on, what does computed style mean then? that's that's the stupidest shit in the world. There's something that gives the like actual style rather than having frickin' auto in there. Uh, okay, no, that's certainly not it. That's certainly not it. Maybe offset width will have some information on what the hell is going on. Oops. I actually don't understand at all why offset width wasn't working. I've already appended it to the body. If this goes back to 0 by 0, then I'll at least know that it is using that. I'll be confused. How much time can I waste fixing a CSS bug? This is actually like fairly common CSS madness. This is something that happens almost every time that you have this particular combination of BS. It was 0, 0, so it did actually run to that point. This is going to be extremely stupid. That'll do it. There's some way to like check for when it actually renders, but I mean it's there's like added complexity because there's also a font issue, and I'm betting that I'm gonna miss the font. When you like, if you look at the login button details for like the Google login script, for example, which is, you know, it's doing a similar thing, then it literally just says it's this many pixels, use that many pixels. Like, it's just a fixed number. And this is why. The hell happened this time? 100 times 100 is 10,000, which is 10 seconds. So after 10 seconds, even if it never got set, it should still get it. But it didn't. hell? This is very strange. What's happening now? The actual functionality isn't broken. Yeah, it's still here. And yet somehow, this just never made it there. That should be quite impossible. Just for yucks, I'm going to go like this. You know what? Rendered. I don't like exist. I want, yeah, fully rendered. DOM content loaded isn't it? No. In spite of it being stupid, I'm going to stick with this just to just two. Just two. I really don't understand what's happening here, and it is a constant frustration to do something with CSS, and it's just like, no. CSS won't work with you today. What the hell? This is supposed to be every 100 milliseconds. That's 100 milliseconds, right? Like a second? 100 milliseconds, a second. It's all the same. But also, it clearly is not working at all. I really don't know why. Is it because the iframe isn't visible? Like, is there some weird, the iframe has to be visible for elements within it to have a defined size kind of nonsense? How do I pop this out? Yeah. Get 0, 0, 0, 0. It has a fixed position. I don't know of any reason why that would matter. Yeah, the inner text is set, so it should be attempting to render something, I would think. But then, I mean, yeah, maybe the fact that it's in a hidden iframe means that, man, it's really weird if that applies, like... I can actually test that theory. Let me test that theory. instead of having this be display none, there's like the old way that you're not supposed to use. I mean, I could just set it to width 0 and height 0. That'll do. Of course, because the width of the document affects the width of all the elements in the document, and so if you... same logic. Boy, that's ugly. Yeehaw! Okay, but I understand what's happening now. And understanding what's happening is 1/8 of the battle. So can I get some kind of like, here's how I would display it if I could nonsense, rather than, oh, it's invisible, so I won't tell you. Visibility. Yes. The thing about hidden is the reason that you're quote unquote not supposed to use hidden is it's still there. It's just hidden. It's just hidden. So if instead of display none, I use visibility hidden, then it does have a real width and height. Okay. Did anything I just did make any sense? Let's find out. Answer, evidently not. And I took out the console.log because I'm an imbecile. I needed that information. Back where you belong. I'm feeling more stupid every day. Well, I may as well check. Oh, it has stuff. And yet it still didn't work. It has a width, it has a height. Oh, of course, because I didn't set it to be visible. Visible. Yay! Yay! Log. I know what's happening there. Oh god, fonts. Oh dear, fonts. Oh no, fonts. Be right back. Since I don't, since there's too much race condition for me to know when it will actually load in relation to uh, the fonts, I'm just going to actually want file storage main. Just going to add a fixed offset. The label will center, so it's actually not very important. Like if it's slightly too big, it just has to be big enough. Obviously, if it's like ludicrously huge, then it'll get stupid, but I have got to get rid of this breakpoint. This is driving me mad. Oh, of course. That's funny. I now need that it will actually take up 100% of the width, regardless of. Oh, but to do that, what I actually need is that its right is 0, because it's fixed. That should do it. If I set its left and right and set its top but not its bottom, then its height should still be automatic, I think. I hope. There we go. Yeah, that's faintly ugly, but it does work, so. Yeah, I guess it waits for the entire remote process to complete. How would it do otherwise? If I could make it just wait for transient activation, that would be prettier, but I feel like I've got bigger fish to fry. Okay, the other issue that needs to be dealt with is that there can be local or remote downloads. So, in this, there's really no reason for me to make any distinction. So what I'm going to do is just have an array downloadsers. This is all written in ES5, which is why I'm doing vars and such, if you were wondering. Now, the point of all of that was that now I can just add this to the downloaders, and it doesn't matter that I have multiple. They will all just happen. They will all work. And since it checked the length on all of them, any one of them needs to be of an appropriate length for it to work. And in just a moment, once it's connected to the cloud, there that pops up. And if I click fetch, then absolutely not a goddamn thing happens. Did I at least get an error in the console? No. Video button. Yeah, video button. On click equals this function. Downloaders for each. Call that downloader. So it's just a list of functions. So made it that far. And it didn't even give like an error message, it just did nothing. It can't do nothing. Message is, yes, a local variable, so that should be preserved. That suggests that it should have sent a message indicating that it has to download something. But it didn't actually download. It worked before. It works from that interface. Does it only work from that interface? I'm not quite sure why that would be the case. If it failed the download, I would have expected it to at least give some error in the console, like something should happen. But there's not even a message in the console, it's doing nothing. The most frustrating part of all is that what I would eventually like to do is integrate the video and audio downloading to actually get a mixed video and audio file, which people always complain about for obvious reasons. And you know, that's certainly their right. So all of this is work that I plan to throw away. But in the interim, I do still have to get this whole sort of roundabout working, so. Undefined. Message.ctx. Did I forget on the other end to include the context in this message? Yes, I did. Oh. Well, that certainly ain't right. Let me just quickly look through all of the post messages and make sure they all have the right context. That there's only 2 of them. Well, 1 out of 2 ain't bad. 1 out of 2 is bad. I'll bet what happened is that I had some intermediate version where I got the context from somewhere else, because that context information I also have from the salt, so I could have just known it elsewhere. There it goes. Okay. I am satisfied. Okay, so this will now transparently get the local video and or the remote video, and it should work in either case and doesn't really care about the distinction, which is precisely what I wanted. So weird to have to do visibility hidden, but it should be fine. Like, it doesn't actually make that big of a difference. Yeah, like this should just be a unified downloader that downloads the audio and has the video format as well. Can't do a lot about the video format, but I can, I don't know. I guess I can't say anything about the format, but I can have integrated with the video or not, or integrated with the audio or separate. See, like this is audio, and then I just have this weird sort of baby attached on the side. It's not the most elegant user interface anybody's ever seen. But yeah, log in there. Goes away for a second, which is certainly bad, and then boink, pops back in. So yeah, various user interface things that are not beautiful there, but it's getting better with each passing moment. Okay, what random crap do I have here? Yeah, that was missing. Okay. Now, what's going to make things real complicated is that I actually need to be able to stream it to the host, which I am nowhere near being able to do right now. That is to say, here, like when you send a download message, this is doing a download by ID, which is always using download stream. What I should be able to do is get this stream, and instead of passing it to a download stream, I should be able to pass it back to the host. And right now I can't do that. But that is not the most imminent concern. What is the most imminent concern? I guess the current user interface for actually setting up cloud storage is, one might say, the worst thing imaginable. Because, like, yeah, it's just accept recordings of guests, save video recordings in in-browser storage phase, in cloud storage, download video recordings live. Only I know what any of these terms mean. This much I think is kind of okay. Like, that's not the worst bit of user interface. Yeah. That much I'm unoffended by. I guess I haven't tested with Dropbox in a long while. Well, that seems pretty bad. No available storage method found. Wait, that's right. That's an error message it gives for confusing reasons that doesn't mean what it says it means. Well, I know one problem. This needs to use Dropbox login. Which I do not presently have in place, do I? Yeah. But I don't think that's going to be the solution because it would have at least popped up a window. It just wouldn't have worked. Yeah. Huh. So when did I break Dropbox? Yeah, it's really unfortunate though because this error doesn't actually mean anything. It's just very misleading. The error is coming from somewhere else, but it just doesn't actually tell you, which is supremely annoying. But you know what? For another time, we have gone the complete cycle. I can record things into the cloud, download them from the cloud into I can download them just from the usual user interface, and I've set up all of the remote nonsense for that to happen. I guess later I'll figure out what the hell happened to Dropbox. Yay! Stream over.